Welcome to day 14 of your home workout routine with QSwim. Now, the broomstick is back by popular demand, as is an easier workout. What we're going to do today is to spend the next 10 to 15 minutes working through 3 different exercises that help us understand body position and how to articulate our vertebrae in different relationships to gravity. Now, the broomstick again, just duck over to the laundry and grab your broomstick. Make sure you put it back together later on. Our first exercise is our hip hinge. So we're going to utilize the broomstick along our back, and we're going to find 3 points of contact. Back of our head, right between our shoulder blades, and down at our tailbone. Right, so we want to be able to feel those 3 points on the broomstick at all times. And what we're going to do here is a hip hinge. And we'll do 5 just to demonstrate to start with. So what I want to ensure is I don't lose contact with those 3 points. I'm going to soften my knees. I'm going to hinge my hips back this way, keeping those 3 points in contact with the broomstick. Alright, so that's the movement pattern that we're after. Our spine staying nice and still, and all of the movement is happening from my hips. An error would be if I disconnected my head straight away, or quite often we see as we come down here, get a double disconnection from our lower back and our neck, and it's just touching the middle of the back. So again, long spine, 3 points of contact, and you just move to where you can. You should feel your hamstrings as the limiting factor. So we'll do 5 of those. After we've done 5 of our hip hinges, we'll pop the broomstick down for the time being, and we're going to come up against the wall, and we're going to work on our spinal flexion articulation. So find the wall, just walk your feet away from the wall a little bit. Start with those 3 points of contact against the wall. And now what we're going to do is slowly just allow our head to come down, so we're looking down towards the floor. And we want to feel from up high that we're getting one vertebrae at a time coming off the wall, until we feel like our hips start to move. And then we're going to reverse that. So we're going to come back. I'm going to try to get my belly button sucking in, touching the wall, vertebrae, 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 up, all the way up. So we're never going to be able to touch the curve in our neck, but that's okay. We're really focusing here on our thoracic spine all the way down to our lumbar spine. And again, just take your time with that, but try to go 5 down and 5 back up. The next exercise is going to be our supine bridge. So we're going to look at the difference here between ribs down, flat back, working through our hips like we just did there in our hip hinge. Right? And I'm keeping my ribs down here as I bridge up. So the movement again is happening from my hips. My spine is staying nice and still, and I'm thinking about the relationship of my rib cage to my hips should be staying the same the whole time. It's just the hips are going from flexion to this position now, which is extension. So again, 5 of those. Now I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to tuck my tail underneath and see if I can again just peel one vertebrae up off the mat. Seeing if you can really differentiate between one vertebrae and the next, until such time you come back up to that neutral position, and then see if you can then lower back down one vertebrae at a time. Okay, so just taking your time with that. Try to notice where you have blind spots, where you move really well. Notice where it's really challenging to get that what we term segmental control, so each vertebrae being able to move distinctly next to the one above and below. Alright, and the last exercise that we're going to do is the difference between a log roll and what we talk about as a swimmer roll. So if you go onto the QSwim app, check out the education section and the table that we've referenced a few times now, and look at the level 1 dead bug, which is this position here. Again, long neck, ribs down, flat back, breath into the belly, hands are up. So a log roll is if I was rolling down a hill, everything's moving together, right? So my right shoulder blade and my right hip have come off the mat at the same time. A little bit like I was holding a big Swiss ball and then coming back. Can I do the same again? I'm going to roll. So my neck, my ribcage, and my pelvis are staying in alignment the whole time. That's a challenge in itself to be able to balance there. Don't be afraid if you fall a few times, that's completely fine. But again, we'll just do 5 to the left, 5 to the right and see how you feel. And then the swimmer roll is a bit challenging here. What we're going to do is come out to a streamline position or relative streamline. We're just going to lock our thumbs together. Right. Feet are going to stay together. And what I'm going to do here is thinking my right hip is the first to move. My right hip is going to roll up. And I'm going to try and just peel one vertebrae at a time, again, off the mat. And then on the way back down, I'm going to go the opposite. My shoulders are going to come down, and I'm going to see if I can control that all the way back down. I do the same to the other side. What I'm going to think here, again, this time it's the left hip rolling. Can I peel myself off the mat? And then on the way back, shoulders, vertebrae, 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 all the way down to the hips. Alright, so we've got those 3 different exercises that'll help us understand neutral spine, but also how well we can articulate between each vertebrae. And what we want to be able to do is just spend, like I said, 10 minutes to 15 minutes working through those exercises, learning where you might have blind spots, and learning where you need to do a little bit of extra work to help improve both your control of neutral and your control of your flexion and extension and rotation range through your spine.